Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Rockwood number 94P by 94L in a 630 satin finish stainless steel. This is a set of poles back to back, and let's go over it. The 94P, that's going to be a reference to generally the interior side of the opening, or the side onto which you will have the flathead screws go through. The countersunk or finish washers would not be needed for this set, but this is the 94P portion of the part number. The 94L is the side without any preparation, except that the lugs, the lugs are welded to the back side of the pole, so you can certainly get immediately the concept of how this is all going to install. Back to back, they're going to bolt through the door to each other. You're going to get a couple of coupling nuts that will thread onto the back. Okay, you get that idea, and that's why the note is there, importantly, to specify if the door thickness is other than 1 3/4, because the length of the screws, of course, on the lugs are based on the door thickness. Okay. And of course your flathead screws will come through and mount. Where are you going to use this? Well, obviously a sliding door. Double acting doors as well. You could see these. You might have a center hung double acting floor closer, or the same as an overhead closer. You might just have a center hung pivot, or you just are going to have simply a sliding door as well. A back-to-back set bolted together is a great idea because these poles take a lot of use, a lot of literally pulling on them. Okay, the surface-mounted version is certainly great, but it wouldn't be my first option if I was going to have them obviously on a door. I would prefer something through-bolted all the time unless I was prevented from it. This set is really the proper way to go when you have a pair back-to-back, because it will afford you a very reliable, long-lasting sort of installation. You're bolting these things together with these 1/4 bolts that are there. Okay, so looking at the rest of the installation, the rest of the extended description, this is a pair of the 94P, 94L 630 finish, satin stainless steel. So it's solid stainless with a satin finish on it. The 630 is going to have a 630 backer that's on the back of it. Real nice construction. It's all stainless steel. You've got this cup or this pan, not a pan, this box that's been tack welded to the back side of this. Nice and robust construction. The size of the material, they have it at 3.5 by 5, and keep in mind, this is not handicap compliant. Rockwood does offer this material with a complete handicap compliant sort of arrangement. 5-inch tall, 3.5 wide. The grip size is 1 3/4 by 3 1/8. Depth, 7/8 of an inch. It all looks accurate. Fasteners, 1/4 through bolts. Finish washers, not going to be needed with this unit at all. And then of course the coupling nuts. You can do security screws on this material, such as torque screws, so if you have a need for that, feel free to let us know and we'll reconfigure the order based on security screws. Other than 1 3/4, be sure to indicate that in the comment field when ordering the material. Generally, there's not a need to modify the order in terms of the cost. Sometimes there is. Indicate that, though, so you get the right length fasteners. There is a link below this video to a document called Product Brochure. That's really handy because it allows you immediately to see the sister products as it relates to the 94 back-to-back mount. The single versions of that, the double versions of that as well. Okay. A note is also there that if you're doing an architectural finish, such as brass or bronze base materials, polished brass, bronze, chrome, polished or stainless, nickel, you're going to have a black finished infill cup area. That would be typical. Now there is a link below this video as well to a document called template, and that is handy, or product template. That's really handy because it gives you the important dimensional information regarding how to go about prepping for this. And this installation would be really simple and straightforward. You're going to want to use a router. Build yourself a template, locate it, or create the size hole in the template. Make that template such that you're flushing it off to the edge of the door. Give yourself a center line so that you can mark it on the door, clamp it down, plunge router all the way through. Going to have to square the corners out a little bit as well to fit that in there. You're not going to want to oversize that template because you don't have a lot of margin over here. You're going to get a rectangle that's going to be 3 3/4 tall, 2 13/16 wide. You're going to drill those holes at 12 6, those half-inch holes. And that's obviously going to be to accommodate the coupling nuts and then, of course, the bolts. You could probably get away with a slightly smaller size on one side of the door, but, you know, don't drill through the door. You're very likely to come off at an angle that wouldn't be desirous for you to do. Drill from either side. Have your template. That would be the great idea, to have your template already set up for that. You might even, if you're doing enough of these, you might even get yourself a bushing where you can, just like you'd have on a lock template, where you can insert that, pressure fit that into the wood, and then mark your hole and drill it correctly as well. It depends on how much of it you're doing. If you're doing one, it's probably not going to be something you're going to fret over. But if you're doing volume, you know, it might take you the amount of labor to do 2 doors to build that template. But if you're doing 10, 3 through 10 are going to be a snap. And plus your results will look incredibly professional. They'll look as if a router did it. So the template gives you the important dimensions of where to put that. You're going to want to make sure that you're installing it at a vertical height such that it is commiserate with the rest of the locks that might be on a job. Here's a scenario. You have a long hallway, and you're going to have a situation by which, meaning you'll certainly want to match the lock height of all the other locks in the space. Long corridor. You've got 10 office doors down this 50-foot, 100-foot corridor, and then you've got sliding doors on either side. Could be closets. Who knows what it could be. You don't want to have your line of sight interrupted by an unusual height. So take an audit of all the other lock heights and make the center line of this commiserate with the rest of everything else. What I like about Rockwood, well, many things. What I like about Rockwood practically all the time, 99% of the time, is the fit and finish. The material just looks good. Okay? The material looks like it was made in a factory and by people that wanted to make the material in such a way that they themselves, if they were the client, would be proud to have spent their money, made the decision to purchase this material, and then install it. It always looks good, the material, and the only defection on here is the fact that I put my fingerprint on it at the top. So I'm really happy with the fit and finish of the Rockwood material. Not only that, of course, but their customer service, excellent customer service, technical support. Much of their material is made to order, and that's because they're a manufacturing company. That's common. However, they have an exhaustive list of in-stock material that ships generally within 3 days, etc. There's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up the full-line product catalog and review all things trim and auxiliary hardware from Rockwood. Any questions on the Rockwood 94P by 94L 630 satin stainless steel sliding door flush pull pair back-to-back, can certainly be used on sliding doors as well as swinging doors, or any other Rockwood product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.